Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
You already
We
know
out
the
here.
vibes.
We took a week off.
No, we didn't.
A forceful week off.
Forcefully took a week
We were
off.
forced to take a week off. Wow, don't you just love nature sometimes? Huh?
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Welcome to the PaperTrail podcast, where everything has a paper trail, so we follow that, and that's how we get our content.
If you don't know by now, you should know.
If you don't know, you should know. Today's a special week. A lot of things have happened. Actually, let's back up. We took a week off.
We did take a week off.
We never filled them in. No one knows what happened.
Bro, we got canceled.
we got canceled by Mother Nature. And as much as I tried to uncancel myself, she just continued to cancel me again.
She said nah.
Yeah. And her name was Milton, by the way. That's a weird name for Mother Nature.
God. Dude. I should have warned you. I should have warned you about that Florida lifestyle. That hurricane lifestyle.
Glad to be back. The funny thing is, so partially doxing myself here. Florida. That's where I live. The funny part about this whole Hurricane Milton is that we were affected by mostly nearby like tornadoes and riptides than the actual hurricane.
Really?
Like we had no power before the hurricane hit us. Like it had spawned. I mean, it spawned like 10 tornadoes like within like a good, we'll say 50-mile radius from us. We're getting alerts left and right. We decided to try to, get out of there a little bit, drive a little south and get away from the spawn tornadoes. And while I'm driving, I'm getting alerts like tornado hit this highway's closed. And I'm like, jeez, like I'm looking in the distance and seeing like the clouds kind of spinning rapidly and
turning
just
purple.
Yeah, exactly.
I was so worried,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah, you saw that picture. The sky
so
itself
worried.
was purple. That was pretty cool. I didn't know that actually happens. But we did get out of there for about a night, and then we came back after the hurricane was over, and the power lines were down.
Bro.
Tornado just wiped it all. I don't think it was just me. It was the entire state of Florida pretty much lost power.
Down and out. I was ready. I had the Prius filled up with gas, bro. I had the water tanks in the back. I was ready to come save Pat, bro.
I wanted to get gas, but the gas stations were out of power. So I couldn't get gas. I had my light was on. So I had to drive sparingly when we got back. Man, I tried to call gas stations. Their phone lines wouldn't work. I was using my cell phone. I did have battery backups on a cell phone. People were selling generators on the street for $3,000. And I figured, you know what? I'd rather live like a kid. It was pretty nice outside. It was in the high 80s, mid to high 80s at sometimes low 80s.
That's how it was when hurricanes would hit Houston, no one had power. We would all just chill outside and talk. I mean, what else is there to do?
Yeah, exactly. I ended up just grabbing some meat and I just told my wife and, my kids are young, but my wife, I'm just going to grill this meat and we got to do it like they did back in the day. Whatever we don't finish goes to the trash.
Throwback, dude.
Yep. So we ate as much as we could. We literally just ate one huge meal.
Dude.
And my stomach was popped. And then that's it. Ran in the backyard, played, didn't eat again until the next day. That was it.
Dude, did you see the Teslas in garages when they would flood, they'd catch on fire?
Exploding. I saw that on media. I don't know what was happening there. Maybe they were shorting out because of the flood waters.
Yeah. Salt water.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. We got pretty lucky with the floods. A couple blocks away there were some floods, but where we live is slightly on a hill. So we're kind of lucky there. But those floods are probably worse than hurricanes sometimes. Just so much damage.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Well, as you can plainly see, The man is
We're back.
alive. The man is well, and we're back.
We're back.
Bro, Coat was like the marking of the ending of season 1 of PaperTrail. I think that was a perfect finale.
One ending. PaperTrail season 2.
Yeah, we're on
we
season 2.
We got a lot of good things happening in season 2.
In the works.
Grant is studying for the Net Plus. How's that going?
Oh my god. My brain is fried, dude. It's my goal. Like, I have to get... Some people are like, don't do A+, don't do this, don't do that. I'm going to do all of them. A+, Net, and Security Plus. Because when I first started this journey, that was my goal. Like, I was like, I want all of them. Just to say that I... As a matter of fact, the first book I ever bought... I was hyped, dude. I was so hyped to start this journey. And I was like, maybe like, I got the book. And
the Security Plus. I had that same book and gave it to my friend.
I got the Net Plus, but I gave it to my uncle. Here you could see I even started doing some notes and taking exams just to realize that I'm not here yet. So I had to put this book away and start back at the basics. So started at A+, now we're doing Net. And there's going to be the finale. This will be done in December. So that's where I'm at.
Let's go.
I know people who jump straight into this.
Yep.
Y'all are wild. I was reading this. I was like, what are they talking about? Now that I read it, I understand it. Day one?
Yeah, after the A+, you kind of understand a lot of it.
Yeah.
Net Plus, you start understanding more. So get into that Security Plus.
I want to be like Pap. I want to get them all.
So I do recommend it. In my journey, cybersecurity was new, so there wasn't a lot of people saying, don't get this, don't get that, don't do that.
Yeah.
That said, if I had to do it again, I probably would have just gotten 3 certs.
Mm-hmm.
But I generally recommend to people to go their path. If they want to get a bunch of certs, go that path, because in the worst case scenario, they've still learned something new.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm learning a lot. Absolutely.
Right. The only time I don't recommend going that path is if it's going to put you in debt.
Mm-hmm.
That's not worth it. No. But if you can afford it.
Luckily, I got that student discount. Shout out to me, a college student.
How much is Security Plus now? What is it, like 400?
It's some ridiculous number. I think I spent like $100 for my A+ because I get the discounts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But most of the time, companies will pay for it, right? If you're working somewhere and sometimes they'll pay for it.
Yep.
If you ask them.
Yep. When I was working in, I got my Security Plus when I was working at a startup,
mm-hmm.
And they paid for it.
Nice.
Yeah. They actually, they had to cap me because they paid for a lot of my certs.
Oh my God.
They were like, I got called in the office and they were like, no more, bro.
I'm sorry, brother.
I got in Net Plus and Security Plus in like the same month.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, cut it out.
Cut it out. So do you think I'm just going to dox myself on stream. Do you think, I've spent a long time studying for Net Plus and I want to do Security Plus in December. So I'm going to give myself maybe 2-3 weeks to just study Security Plus. Do you think that's enough time? Because I studied A+ in 2 weeks for part 1 and then 1 week. I did what you did for A+, and it worked. But what do you think? If you did it in the same month.
At a time? Yeah. So I had somewhat of an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
When I took my Net Plus, I was already working. So I was already working at a startup
mm-hmm. as
an analyst. Well, my title was IT analyst, but I was doing a lot. Like I was going from like configuring Fortinet firewalls
mm-hmm.
to like doing virus removals from PCs and malware analysis, all the way to like implementing Okta and setting up user provisioning for companies.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a consulting company, and we just did a bunch of different consulting things. That said, because of that, a lot of when I was reading Security Plus, a lot of it was familiar. Net
mm-hmm.
Plus, a lot of that was familiar. So
yeah, you work on that stuff.
It wasn't hard for me to just kind of understand a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I'll say is the people that I work with was very much learned by doing.
Yeah.
Not just by the book. So when I wanted to learn how SSH worked, right? Like I had one of the employees just give me his Pi and just like, just set up SSH on this thing and connect to it. Like then you'll know how it works.
Yeah.
And so I did, right? So you set up SSH on the Pi and then like, oh, well, that makes sense. And then he's like, how do you want to authenticate? There's like basic auth, there's like public private key pairs. There's like, I think those are the only two I had back then. At least. So I chose public private key pair and it was pretty straightforward from there. And so I got to edit the SSH config file. I got to see like the, authorized key file for like to drop your SSH key in, and things like that. So, that's what I learned. So if you're not in that kind of environment,
it's gonna be a little difficult.
You might want to take maybe an extra week or two. But if you feel like you're understanding the material, just go for it.
Dude, kind of a side note, speaking of Raspberry Pis, finally took one of these old Pis I had from 2017. My teacher was like, if you get my content on like our school news program, like I'll buy you a Pi. So he bought me a Pi because I did it. And I just had it sitting here forever since like 2016. And I finally took it and I made a Pi hole. I made the ad block Pi hole.
Nice. For the viewers who don't know what a Pi hole is,
go watch a video. No.
Google it. Or if you were really old and back in the day, ask Jeeves. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, God. Yeah, for those who don't know what a Pi hole is, it's a DNS sinkhole. When you request a website, it sends all the different requests to that website, but then you get a bunch of ad requests back. So it just redirects those ad requests to a random DNS server, which would be the Pi, and sends them down a sinkhole. So you would just see a blank space where an ad would be. Yeah, I did a headless install, which means there was no operating system. So I did have to SSH into the Pi, download the software on there. So, and it was a great first project. If you don't know how SSH works, DNS works, DHCP configuration settings, go get a Pi and go do it. I mean, like, you don't even need a new Pi. I had this Pi, it was old. So find an old one.
Yeah, I mean, my first Pi was from my friend who won a contest, but you can buy a Pi and like offer up or whatever trading platform you want to use. It's really really cheap, and it's nice to get into, start building things, learning how they work.
And if you mess it up, who cares? Just reset it.
Start over. That's it. Yeah, wipe it, start over. They're really versatile. They're easy to install things on. You, I mean, I literally just plugged in a USB and that was it. Just installed. I can't remember what I installed back then. It was probably like Debian or something like that. Go from there.
I was struggling at first, and then I was like, Pap, help me. And he's like, bro, I'll help you tomorrow. And so, like, I'm happy he said that because it forced me to be like, all right, bro. Like, and like, I logged in the next day, and I was like, wait a minute, it's blocking ads. It did work.
Hey, there you go. I don't know. I can't remember if I was tired or busy that day. Some days I'm busy. Some days I'm just like, brain dead.
Before we get into it, bro, we had a new member reach out to us from the pod. Do you want to talk about that?
New member reach out from the pod.
Divyesh. Divyesh.
Oh yes! Shout out to I want to make sure I say his name right. Let's click on it. Yeah, I'm Divyesh. Divyesh. If I am butchering it, just correct me. But Divyesh, shout out, man. He joined the server. After listening to one of the pod episodes, he jumped in VC and we started chatting. He has a good head on his shoulders, really sophisticated individual. He is still studying. He's finishing college relatively soon, and I think he's going to go far. Divyesh, if you're watching this episode, keep it up. I'm here rooting for you. I want to see you succeed after the college days.
Dude,
so thanks for joining.
That's so cool. That was like one of my main goals from the pod. I remember you saying, I remember him reaching out in chat like, hey, can I have a one-on-one with you? And I was like, I feel like he's from the pod. I feel like he saw the pod because like the way he's asking that, because that's something that I would do. Like if I saw this pod, I'm like, I want to talk to this Pap guy. Like, like that's like the first thing I would do if I saw a pod. which is the first thing I wanted to do when I saw Arson. I was like, he's in Texas. I'm going to go visit him.
Texas. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is in Texas. It's funny.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, anyone out there, usually, as long as I'm available, I'm happy to jump in VC chat. When I'm brain dead, I usually jump on VC and game anyway. It's my way to kind of reset my brain after a long day. I wake up early, so I start my day pretty early. But yeah, jump in, share your thoughts on the pod, share your thoughts on the changing landscape, comment. I mean, we love interacting. The goal is to kind of keep the community going.
Dude, also shout out to Jay. He sat behind me in class in college, and I would always ask him like, "What's up, man? What's up?" And then he finally just jumped in. I added him to the server a long time ago, and he finally jumped into VC and started chatting with us. So shout out to you, Jay.
Nice.
If you're watching.
Nice. Yeah, that was the one that jumped in while we were playing Halo. Was it? Shout out to Jay.
He asked questions, got some knowledge. He's gonna start his certification training soon here as well.
Nice.
So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, what are the topics for today, bro? First one back after Hurricane Survival and Season 2.
So it's funny because I survived Milton. I mean, I was chilling, right? We lost power. I wasn't struggling at all. I was literally chilling in my backyard grilling, having a beer. It was easy. It was nice.
Easy street.
But I'll say I survived for the sake of, survival's sake. Get back to work because I had to take a few days off. And the first thing I see that comes up is Chinese researchers hacked RSA.
Oh my God.
And so the chat at work is split, right? Split into two different, I would say, spectrums. One spectrum saying, this is it. We need to switch to quantum-based encryption. We need to switch over to quantum computers that aren't out yet. We need to switch to quantum services. Probably aren't out yet either. We need to start looking at vendors. So that's one side. The other side was saying, oh, this is a joke. Like, this is another scare tactic. No one cares. Like, it's going to blow by everyone else. I'm somewhere in the middle, right? So as part of my doctorate studies, what I do now is focusing a lot on the machine learning aspect. But before that, my focus was on quantum-based encryption. So when it comes to those quantum encryption algorithms, I'm pretty knowledgeable about them. In fact, I love talking about them. So I instantly just started reading this article. Okay, what's going on? So to say things technically, then to kind of rewind and then say things non-technically. So the RSA encryption has let's put it like this. The Chinese researchers basically use something called quantum annealing to essentially crack, meaning they grab the private key from 50-bit RSA encrypted integer, which is a number, big number. It wasn't that big, but it was 50 bits. So zeros and ones converted to bits, 50. What that means in regular terms is quantum annealing is a fancy word. It's basically just a mathematical, I guess you can call it an algorithm, but it's really like a method. So the idea is based on guessing, right? So instead of just guessing random numbers, you would eliminate higher and lower numbers. So an easy example of that is if you were to say, can you give me a number between 1 and 1,000? Or tell me a number between 1 and 1,000, and if you get the right number, I'll say it's right, or something like that. And I say 10, and you say no, and I say, is it higher or lower? And you're like, it's higher. Well, now I just eliminated 1 through 10. Now I have 990 different numbers to choose from. So very similar to that, except a little more advanced. The quantum annealing, I think, uses like square root in order to kind of chop down the really wrong answers and then eventually get to the right answer. That works because of something called quantum superpositioning, basically saying that instead of calculating things one at a time, a quantum computer can do several calculations at the same time. So several calculations at the same time, and you just keep guessing, but eliminating the wrong answers. That's essentially quantum annealing, right? 50-bit integer. And when I read that, currently today, the minimum bit size in RSA that we're using is 1024. The maximum is about 2048. So 50 to 1024. Really small size. So when I read that, it's like, okay, well, multiply that by 20, and that's the kind of speed you'll need to crack our current RSA encryption at the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So multiply that by 40, and now you have our maximum. In order to take computer speeds and multiply by 40, that's going to take a lot of work. So I did lean on the, it's whatever. We don't need to panic at this moment. Chinese researchers have done essentially what we have theorized with something called Shor's algorithm for the past few years. So we end up back here, right? People are basically saying now we don't really care.
Yeah.
Now, do I think we shouldn't care? No, I don't think we shouldn't care. I do think that we should start thinking about how we can migrate to quantum-based encryption algorithms, because there's a lot of issues with that. But I don't think we should panic. There's still a lot of time. What I mean is, we mentioned SSH earlier. That uses TLS. And we mentioned TLS. Well, we didn't mention TLS, but HTTPS also uses TLS, we know. TLS uses Diffie-Hellman. Well, it depends on the version, right? 1.2 supported RSA and elliptic curve, which are two different algorithms, and Diffie-Hellman. 1.3, which is the most recent, did away with RSA. So they only use elliptic curve and Diffie-Hellman. Diffie-Hellman is also said to be breakable with a similar method from how this RSA encryption was broken. Elliptic curve was said to be breakable in a slightly different way, but by a quantum computer. So to migrate to a quantum encryption would mean to do away with the old algorithms in TLS, including SSH and HTTPS, and put in a quantum algorithm. Now, quantum-based algorithm might be too big for TLS, so transferring data back and forth would be significantly slower. So then you have to start looking at transferring data between quantum computers or some other kind of way to implement the PKI piece, PKI being the public key distribution process. A lot of words said there, but I'm basically just saying the way we exchange keys right now is going to be really slow. So there's going to be a lot of changes. So I do think that people need to start thinking about how those changes are going to impact systems, applications, and things like that.
Okay, so if you don't know what Pap just said, he has a very great video. I think it's a series you're working on.
Yeah, part 2 soon. The power outage delayed it a bit, but part two soon.
So I understand RSA, I understand Diffie-Hellman, I understand the TLS, I understand elliptic curve, and I understand PKI. Now the combination of all those things went a little bit over my head and how that would work, but
yeah, the big issue. So in this sense, you don't have to get too technical with TLS. Just know that when I talk about PKI, I'm specifically talking about key distribution. So what I'm talking about is if I'm going to implement a quantum-based encryption algorithm, I need to have two keys as part of the PKI system, public and private. So the big question is, how can I send my public key to a server or person? When we're talking about websites, we're talking about a server, right? Like I put my public key on a server. Well, I mean, with HTTPS, you don't do that. The key exchange happens throughout the TLS process. You want the key exchange to happen with HTTPS, but TLS needs to send a huge key over, which would take it a lot longer. So the question becomes, how can I send my big key over to, a server without degrading speed? Pretty much. Hopefully that makes sense. Try to explain that in the most simple way possible.
Wait, was it? Did you say was it Chinese hackers or were they just Chinese researchers?
Chinese researchers. Okay. So, researchers. So the big thing with research and hacking, they're very similar. Hacking is very niched. It's a niche version of researcher, whereas a researcher is someone who has a potential goal and has this trial and error process in order to demonstrate if that goal is possible. A hacker is solely out to essentially break a system. It doesn't need to involve research. Sometimes they just run tools, but it could, and oftentimes it will involve research. So researchers I give researchers more credit. It takes a lot more brain power.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it wasn't as big of a break as what it should be, right? So they cracked this RSA, but it's not the big RSA. And did they use like a quantum computer to crack it, or?
Yeah, so they used a quantum computer. I believe it had about like 5,000 qubits, and which again, for a quantum computer, is really small. In order to crack the current RSA we have, which is between 1,024 and 2,048 bits in the key sizes,
billions and billions of years.
Well, yeah, but we would probably need close to 1 million, maybe over 1 million qubits in memory.
Jeez.
And we're only at 5,000. So, long way to go there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
You don't think you think it'll be in our lifetime, or you don't think so?
It's possible.
I think it's possible.
I mean, the big issue with qubits right now is that you need to keep the processor at absolute zero. So you need to keep it completely frozen. Like there needs to be no heat. Should there be heat, then you have a lot of errors happening, and that directly impacts the amount of qubits you're able to use. And so in the future, is there going to be a superconductor that someone's going to use as like some kind of super processor? I don't know.
Mr.
If
Freeze.
that does happen, then it is time to worry, because that quantum computer is going to be out in a couple of years after that. It hasn't happened yet. Researchers are still researching. So I give credit to a lot of researchers, right? They're still trying to find a good solution for this. There are some things that might work, but then they have other side effects, right? So like, for example, there was, what's it called? LK99, which was, LK99 was a chemical. I guess it wasn't a chemical. It was a superconductor that I think it was North Korean researchers. Feel free to research this. Actually, let me just make sure I get my facts right instead of just throwing things out there. LK99 was a superconductor. It was I want to say it was Lee Kim. So that's definitely a Korean name, but I don't know if it's North or South Korea. Yeah, it was. I'm just gonna say Korea. I don't know if it's North or South. I don't want to get my facts wrong. It was a Korean guy, Lee Kim, who basically had claimed, him and some other researchers claimed that they create this compound using lead, and they burn lead like to a crazy like heated temperature. So lead is highly explosive in some ways. Like if you ignite it, it'll. But if you burn, I guess what they're claiming, if you burn it enough, right, you can get this new kind of compound. It's like they mix like copper and lead and kind of burned in and got this, I don't know what it's called, a new compound, but apparently this compound is resistant to heat. So basically saying they can keep it at room temperature while without fans, just running processes on it. So the big thing about research, and it's funny because I mentioned this before the call, one thing we learned in our while we're in a doctorate program is a research isn't research because of your credentials. A research is a research because you have actively allowed people to try to prove it wrong, and only is it considered reliable when it can't be proven wrong. And so in this case, other researchers from around the globe, U.S., I don't know, probably China, probably Russia, who knows, rushed to try to reproduce this compound, LK99, and no one has been able to reproduce it. So again, that shows the research cannot be reliable because it has not been done again. Not even Lee Kim himself has done it.
Oh dang.
So either so it begs to best ask, either this was an accident or this was a fluke kind of thing, or a lie. I mean, it could also be a lie. Yeah, it could be a lie, fluke, or accident. Meaning the research probably didn't lead to that. It could have been something else that led to it. So maybe it was a fluke. Maybe the research did lead to it, but it was an accident, or maybe they just lied. Who knows? But that's just an example of how much work people are putting into in order to obtain that processor that will be needed for this quantum computer.
They need what is the Bob Lazar element from element 113? What is it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
that's what you need.
Yeah,
that's what
you need something.
The UFO element,
right? You need the
to cool that CPU. Jeez.
To cool that, put it in a complete freezer. Wow.
You seen the video?
I want to build one. That's a funny thing.
The one where the guy who made the computer, that he put it in like a lake behind his house. You know what I'm talking about? Like, have you seen that one? He like built a computer in like this glass tube with like copper tubing and like put it in the lake behind his house to keep it
Actually,
cool.
I think I did see it. It was like lake cooling or something like that. It was like a YouTube video. I think I might have seen something like that.
Now that'd be cool if you went to like Alaska or somewhere and like that, you know, cold water and you put it. But if it's like in Texas, it's gonna be hot. Warm lake.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few things. I mean, I've always wanted, when I'm done with school, maybe I'll dabble in, but I've always been wanting to just experiment with different rocks and see if I can. I don't know what happens if I put it in a vacuum. Will it stay at zero? Because if you find a rock that can conduct electricity and remain at zero, well, you found
the secret,
the perfect processor. Yeah.
Jeez,
it's fun research to get into for those who are interested in rocks.
This is ridiculous.
How
did we get here?
I don't know. By the way, don't play with lead. It is poisonous.
Don't play with lead. Don't play with mercury.
Yeah, don't play with mercury either. Not at all. Just stay away from those kind of rocks. But let's keep moving.
Don't drink what is it? Liquid metal thermal paste.
Yeah, don't drink liquid metal thermal paste. Don't play with that stuff at all.
Have you used
safe
it?
Environment. Liquid metal?
The thermal paste one, like it's liquid metal that they put in the PlayStation 5.
No, I haven't used the liquid. No,
it's for consumers.
It looks so dumb. Excuse my language, but
so dumb.
It just, I don't know. It just reminds me of like, the Mario 64. He's like metallic.
When
Mario.
You can book a Metal Mario.
Yeah, Metal Mario. It just reminds me of that. It just, I don't know. My hand just like, how does it look like this?
You're just gonna stick with the regular thermal paste. It's good for you.
Yep, regular gray stuff.
The gray stuff.
It's been working for me.
I don't even. My CPU cooler comes with it pre-applied, so I don't even need to worry about it.
Mine did too, but I remove it every like 3 or 4 months.
Really? You change your thermal paste?
Yeah, because I removed the AIO and cleaned the vents and everything.
Okay.
I don't need to remove the AIO, but like I just don't like letting the tubes kind of dangle.
Yeah, for too long.
So I just remove it all, and then I remove all of it, clean the vents, and then I clean the CPU, clean the block that goes onto the CPU, and then I reapply it.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
It keeps ventilation going.
Yeah.
And so your computer doesn't get dusty.
Yeah.
And then people like to use the air blower in their PC, and sometimes for some reason it breaks the GPU or something.
Really?
Like, what happened? Yeah, I've no idea. That's never happened to me. I mean, I do take my GPU out of the case and then spray it individually. That's never happened to me, but I've seen like videos of that happening in Reddit threads for some reason.
I use this thing. I don't really use compressed air. I use like a little.
Is that a tire?
Not it's like it's a vacuum and like a blower, so it blows the air instead of like compressed air. Yeah, this is what I use to spray my stuff every now and again to get the dust off.
You definitely use compressed. I definitely use compressed air.
Really, classic.
I just don't know where it is. Old school compressed. I mean, I don't go crazy because then it starts like you get like water.
Yeah,
and it's like but. Hey, that's how it is.
You and this encryption and RSA,
what I studied.
You're so
I
like,
studied for my.
that's what you're
I studied
doing?
for my doctorate.
Okay.
It was what I originally studied for my doctorate.
Mhm.
That research was later denied after being accepted because of how much time would be put into it.
Mhm.
So they wanted me to be done and out of here by 2025, and my research was probably going to bring me up to like 2026 or 7.
Jeez.
Like, no, we're not about to wait for you that long. Get out of here.
Get out.
So I switched it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I got into machine learning.
Mhm.
But I do want to continue my research
Yeah.
after school. So I will continue my research in the quantum encryption side of things.
Dang.
I also want to continue my research in quantum in general.
That's crazy.
Pretty cool. All right.
Sorry.
Something else pretty unique happened.
Seriously. Let's get on with the podcast.
When I do bug bounties, I like to use a certain website to see how old layouts were and see if I can find old bugs and how they were patched.
Mm-hmm.
And that certain website was brought down for a couple of days, huh?
Well,
talk about that.
So while you're getting brought down by hurricanes and tornadoes, the Internet Archive is brought down by hackers.
Internet Archive. Did they delete the data? I saw the headlines. I didn't read it because I'm still recovering from having no food.
Did
they delete our data from the Internet Archive?
So this is beyond me. I've never went to the Wayback Machine. I've never used the Internet Archive. I know a lot of people who do. Like, I watch a lot of YouTubers who are like, "Oh, you go on the Wayback Machine," but I've never done it myself. So this is out of my expertise. I wanted to ask you if you've ever used it.
Yeah, I use it a lot. I use it. So you remember the script that I shared with you to do bug bounty stuff? It uses Internet Archive to grab your links. Yeah. So if you grab links from a website, that means you have to directly probe that website, which means if they have like a firewall or CDN, which is a content delivery network, either the firewall or the CDN has the ability to block you. So they can block you, or they can use a proxy and block you. There's a lot of things they can block. But they can block you if you're directly probing the website. People try to use VPN to get around it, but then you have to like limit your request per second. The Internet Archive doesn't have those kind of protections on it. So if I wanted to find subdomains on google.com, I can just start with Internet Archive, grab the subdomains from their API, and then whatever I have left over, then I try to probe google.com. So it's a way to kind of get information without having to directly access the website. Another thing I try to do is if a website has fixed an issue on their front page, on their main page, like let's say you find a bug report and it's like 2017, they fixed cross-site scripting in the search parameter, search parameter, for example. Try to see on Wayback Machine, which is basically Internet Archive. See if you can find their webpage from before it got fixed, and then see how the HTML looked, and then see how the HTML looked after they fixed it, and what they did, and see if you can bypass their fix. So that's one thing I do. In some cases, they'll just change the input type to text, which just means that it's not vulnerable to XSS anymore. Mostly, I've never had that vulnerable to XSS. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone out there. But if it's something like that, I just kind of ignore it. But if it's something like, sanitize in a regex pattern, well, let's see if we can break that regex pattern. Yeah. So I use it. I used to use it a lot. I don't have much time to use it anymore, but if it was still archiving, I would probably still use it. I think it is still archiving, so I might use it again in the future.
I want to go back. I don't want to sound dumb here. Content delivery network, a CDN. I've never heard of that. I heard of firewalls and I heard of proxies. I've not heard of a CDN. Is that like a?
Have you heard of Akamai?
Yes, but I don't know what it is.
Yep. Okay, so the difference. All right, so I'll explain things in, we'll say the simple terms.
Yeah,
CDN does a lot of. It does a lot of. Has a lot of features, but for the most like important feature, which is the major feature of a CDN, is basically to deliver like content. So A CDN is like a group of servers. So like if I had a CDN, I would have like servers all around the world, and their purpose is to deliver content to users from various different websites, right? So if a user went to, we'll just throw out websites. If a user went to Hulu, Google, Facebook, I don't know, Yahoo, and they were all behind my CDN, those users would be receiving their content from my CDN. So think of it almost in that sense, very similar to like a WAF, but on a wider scale, and also covers several different domains or companies. It's very useful for migrating protection from your own, like, self to someone else, right? So if I can use a WAF, but let's say a CDN like Akamai has better signatures to detect attacks. Well, on top of my WAF, I might as well just subscribe to Akamai. That way they can deliver my content.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about what they do, right? And if they get past Akamai, they still have my own WAF.
Yeah.
Which also means, right, if I'm using if a CDN is used by, Hulu, Google, Facebook, Yahoo, and me as a user wants to try to hack one of those, let's say Hulu, and I get blocked on Hulu by the CDN, that also means I'm blocked on Google, Facebook, and Yahoo as well. Any CDN service that blocks you in one area, every company that uses that CDN, you're blocked from every single company.
Yeah.
Yep. In order to get unblocked from a CDN, the CDN providers do not do the unblocking. You have to call each individual company
to have them unblock you.
Have them unblock you. Or you have to call your ISP and change your IP address. Those are the only two ways. So bug hunters out there, use a VPN. If the VPN gets blocked, that's good. Do not use your if you're going to use your own ISP's gateway IP address and you get that blocked, good luck. You're cooked. I got CDN blocked. I can't remember how long ago it was this time, but it was a while ago. And I couldn't log into Hulu. I couldn't log into Walmart. I couldn't log into I can't even log into HackerOne. It was like bugging out.
They got you.
They got me on everything I use. So I just went to my ISP and changed my IP address, and I was fine again. Just always use VPN. Now, I mean, I don't use VPN all the time. I only use it now when you're testing.
Bug hunting and stuff.
Yep, testing. But yeah, the crazy part about that is they had like guidelines, right? So they're like, limit your request to about 2 requests per second, which I did. But Akamai was apparently outside of their own guidelines. So Akamai said otherwise, and I got blocked from that.
God, that's crazy. Dang. So sorry,
CDN.
Bit of a roundabout from a CDN. I didn't even know that they could block requests. I thought that was all firewall.
You can block requests on proxies, CDNs, firewalls. You can block requests on some load balancers.
Dang.
You can block requests on. There's a lot of different things that can host, like straight up on the host itself. You can block requests. So there's a lot of things that can be used to block requests. I think CDN's one of them.
Sorry, the Wayback Machine, Internet Archive. So they're non-profit based in San Francisco and operate on a shoestring budget.
Oh yeah, they barely get paid.
It's like Wikipedia or what?
Wikipedia doesn't get paid.
They don't
That's
get paid
the
at
issue.
all.
They're always like, please donate.
I didn't even sorry, go ahead.
I think Wikipedia runs off of like donations. So
But so they actually do get paid though? The Wayback Machine guys? They get some kind of funding?
I don't know.
Not really.
I've never paid them.
So you can make, is it like an account based thing? I have no idea how it works.
With the Wayback Machine?
Like Internet Archives in general.
The script I made was literally just using their API. Their API is free.
Okay.
All I did was just generate a key and then read the documents and then whipped it up.
Dang. So Sims are back now, though. I think they've shut down for a day to fix their security, and now they're back, I believe. I'm gonna look at this website. I've never been here, guys. Do this. First time.
There's been archive.org.
Oh yeah, wait, nope.
Org.
They're still offline.
Archive.org? They'll go to web.archive.org. That's Wayback Machine.
Oh yeah, it still says temporarily unavailable.
I'm fine.
Really?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Archive.org.
I'm on web.archive.org. Wayback Machine, let's see. Oh, I'm still getting it. What? Wayback Machine. Like if I try to search, let me try to search something.
I'll try to search google.com. Let's try it. No, I can see it.
Really? Okay, I'm seeing something.
Yeah.
I'm seeing something. Yeah, if you search something, it shows up. Ooh, that's weird. Ooh. Because I was actually looking for a podcast from. This is the first time it affected me. I was looking for a podcast from the Darknet Diaries. The podcast was called Welcome to Video, and one of the links for it was in the Internet Archive, and I clicked on it, and it wouldn't pop up. I was like, "Whoa, hackers really got in." That's how I wanted to ask you about it. That's crazy.
Yeah, look at that. And I'm looking at Google from, January 1st, 2024, and it's saying Happy New Year.
Jeez.
Internet Archive.
What a thing.
Yeah, they're back up. Did they lose a lot of data? Let's see. No, I'm still. They didn't lose all the. Well, I mean, maybe emails and stuff were dumped, but as far as website information, but guys, still there. Looking at Google from June 1st, 2001, the old Google logo. I think this used Flash Player back then too. That's funny. Pretty cool.
That's awesome. Check out Wayback Machine. That's awesome. I want to see that too.
There you go. You got your Wayback tutorial. Tutorial on Wayback.
Check it out.
Click buttons, type in what you want to type in, and go from there.
Cool. This is so cool. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Anyway, what was next?
I think that was it. I was actually looking at the search feature in like one of the websites that I just looked at. It was input as text, so definitely no cross-site scripting there. But I think that was it for the most part. I guess one more thing we can mention is some of the work I've been doing behind the scenes.
Yes.
And so with a lot of the hard work that I'd like to say I've been doing, we have launched few guys that I will say I'm friends with and myself have launched a startup pen testing service called Evangelize Security. We'll link that in the description for anyone who wants to take a look, but we're just offering pen test services to organizations and looking to help them to reach their compliance status with all of those industry related compliance based regulations. PCI, DSS, HIPAA, SOX. What are the other ones? A few others, like, what is it? NERCA or something like that's another one. I don't know. But yeah.
Dude.
EvangelizeSecurity.com.
Congratulations on that, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Fun journey. This is just one of many different things that I plan to work on in the future. So as we progress, man, I'm just gonna start throwing products out there. my ultimate product would be after school, so stay tuned for that. That's gonna be a different beast.
I think I'm gonna start merch for the PaperTrail podcast. Our first merch will be like a knockoff of a Dr. Pepper logo. It's gonna say Dr. Pepper. Okay.
Is it gonna be a drink?
It'll just be like a hoodie. It's like,
Hey, I was gonna say if it's a drink, you should just make it Dr. Pap.
Dr. Pep.
You go. Dr. Pap soda.
Dude, honestly, little energy drink for those late night bug bounty hunts. Dr. Pap.
Exactly. Dr. Pap.
That'd be sick.
And then, and then we'll do an update a couple years later and call it Dr. Pap V2.
Dr. V2.
Let's go.
Oh my god. And then I'll be Grandmaster.
Hey,
Grandmaster Flash, and it'll be like a Sprite knockoff. That's right.
Let's go. Together we're PG. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Dude. So excited for season 2. Have some great stuff coming out. Also, didn't you say that some students were listening to or you said you did like a speech or something, like a conference, and some students came up to you and you showed them the podcast and they were interested in being on?
Yeah. So I had like it was more like a Q&A kind of thing with some students, some college students who are working on their capstone. Really, man, I wish I could talk about it, but it's their capstone, it's not mine.
Yeah,
but it's a really cool idea. These kids are really smart. I like talking to them, and they actually saw my YouTube. So they they saw some of my YouTube videos and had questions based on context there. But I shot them over my podcast. So if you guys want to listen, feel free. We're happy to get your input. So if you guys are listening today, feel free to comment, get your input. You have my email. They have my email. They have my Discord. They can always reach out. But I'm just really eager to see where the project takes these students. And like I said, they're really smart. I'm just really happy to see people doing a lot of intelligent things in the world.
That's awesome, man.
But
that's so cool.
Before we transition, and you mentioned merch, and I wanted to hear more about that.
What?
And so let's rewind a little bit. You said T-shirts.
I was trolling, dog.
You're gonna make we need to. If you guys want merch, post that down in the description.
Some PaperTrail merch.
I mean, in the comments. But you put it out there. Merch is. I mean, I could jump on a podcast and
with your Dr.
just
Pap
have
shirt.
some PaperTrail, old PG.
That would be cool.
PG Trail. There you go.
That would be cool. Grandmaster Flash.
Exactly. Call it that.
Oh my god. We'll see. We'll ask AI to do some renderings of what that could look like. But I think like a knockoff of Dr. Pepper. It's Dr. Pap, and it's like a Dr. Pepper logo, but like with Dr. Pap. We could put like your face on the back.
That works. Although there was a I didn't actually read this article. Someone told me. Someone who read it. So I played a little telephone for this information. There was a guy who used AI to make art and tried to trademark the art, I think, and it didn't work.
Jeez.
You couldn't trademark AI art for obvious reasons. It's AI art.
Yeah.
So we make those shirts basically saying we can't trademark them. So if anyone wants it, they just have to
take it,
print them.
Yeah. No, you know what? We'll make it like official, but just to see what it could potentially look like, I'll ask AI. But when it comes, if we actually make a product, I'll probably have like my mom and my sister. They're the artists of the family. I'll have them like draw up a rendering, see what they come up with. That'd be cool.
Yeah. We get little PGT hats,
little beanies.
Little beanies. It literally just says PGT on it.
Man. That would be cool. That would be cool. We'll see.
You guys heard it. Merch coming soon.
Season 2.
We're not taking no. Season 2.
Man.
That's about it, man. I mean, other than that, we appreciate all of you who watch. Appreciate the comments below. Make more comments. We'll read those comments. Check them out. If you want to talk to us in person, jump in a server. Just ping one of us. Grant's Afro in a server. So Afro Skinny Jeans is his name.
That's my gamer tag.
I am Pap V2 in the server. So ping one of us, just say, yo, what's up? Let's chat. We'll always jump on as long as we're free. We're not free. We'll let you know.
That was so cool that he jumped in. Like that was my goal from the
Divyesh.
beginning. Yes, to have people who really want to get into it. There's a easier transition to jump in and ask questions and find your people. Like that was my goal. Like Coat found me. Let me continue the Lord Coat's work and bring more people in. So
yeah, Divyesh is man, he's a really bright kid. I have high hopes for him. Hoping he keeps it up and goes far.
Shout out to Neswin too. What was his name? Hold on. Sorry. It's been a while since we've talked to him. DIY Sec. Shout out to him.
DIY Sec.
We gotta have him back on because he's starting his new position soon, and I want to hear about that. So maybe he'll be our second appearance guest. That'd be cool.
Hey, that'd be pretty cool. DIY Sec, shout out, man. And good luck on the position. I think we need to have you back on and just let us know how the position's going. For those who don't know, DIY Sec went from 0 to hero in the cybersecurity community. He did it without a job, without school, and without certifications.
Did it all.
He made his way into the cybersecurity world with that. So he has an amazing story. Watch that podcast episode. It's literally called "This Guy Made It to Cybersecurity with those certifications." So you can't miss it. Watch that. But we definitely have to have him back and just have him update us on how things are going.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, no, DIY Sec, he's a homie. Shout out to him. He's a real one.
Yep, absolutely.
Shout out to Neswin. We talk to Neswin like every day. Love Neswin and Code. Talk to him every day too. Code is always like, ever since the podcast, Code is like always online live. Just jump in and you'll see him live.
Oh yeah, Code's he's there.
Yeah.
If you want to learn a few things, jump in, see Code. If you don't know who Code is, watch the episode. Code's it's another one who went from 0 to mastermind. So jump in that. And shout out to Code. Shout out to Neswin, as you just said. Who else needs any shout outs? Anyone in the comments from the last video?
Someone asked about the book you mentioned in the last video.
Which book?
I can't remember which. You just like showed an book.
Showed an book?
I'm trolling. You showed a book.
Showed an. No example. The book recommendations at 47:30.
You're talking about the DPA attack?
Oh, the DP. Okay, so that wasn't a book. The DPA attack stands for differential power analysis. It's a cryptographic attack that uses the difference in power level and power as, I guess the best way to put this, as encryption takes place on a machine, right? You can measure the power spikes, and so the differential power analysis is using a measurement of those power spikes in order to crack the encryption, to derive the public key or the secret. Or the message. So it's not really much, not always about the private key, but just trying to figure out what the message is. So you just figure out the message through the spikes kind of thing. I'm
sorry.
That's what DPA is. I actually didn't get that from a book. I got that from one of my old mentors who invented the cryptanalysis attack.
I remember you talking about that.
Yep. Richard
Dickey,
my boy Dickey.
He's an OG.
Yeah. Richard George, Richard Dickey George. He's an old guy who I have a lot of respect for. He's one who invented the cryptanalysis attack. He was the first person I heard DPA from, and then I did my own research from there and figured out what it was and how to do it, kind of thing. So if you want to learn more about DPA, just Google differential power analysis, I'll throw something, maybe like a link in the description or something like that. But it's not a software based kind of thing. It's a hands-on thing, right? Um, you need to attach like an oscilloscope or something, right, to measure power output, to like some kind of processor, and you need to like study the output as this processor is performing encryption. And based on this, what you study, you'll either notice that the power level stays the same, meaning that power has been reduced to avoid DPA. You'll see that the power is spiking more frequently, meaning that there are random spikes to confuse you, or you'll see that the power only spikes when a cycle has been run, which is ideal for DPA and also SPA, which is simple power analysis. So, well, maybe I'll share a link. That wasn't a book.
No, I'm sorry. It was. He did mention that, but it's like if you go to episode 5 at 3907, you mentioned 2 books. I think that's what he was talking
30?
about.
Oh, I see. Oh, shout out, by the way, Bryson Mondry. Shout out. I do like love the question that you had. Let's see. Oh, the applied cryptography. Oh, okay. And then the other book was the post-quantum cryptography.
Mhm.
That was during my study. I still have those. One second.
Oh my gosh. He's gonna bring y'all out with them recs.
For this one, I know. Well, maybe I'll link it.
Yeah.
So this was for the post-quantum cryptography conference in Maryland that occurred in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the conference in 2023, last year. Yeah, I went to the conference, and that's why I got this book. So I got this at the conference, at that post-quantum cryptography conference. They were talking about the contenders for the quantum computing era, which happened to be the crystals. So crystals, Kyber, and crystals, dilithium. Kyber for public key encryption and dilithium for digital signatures.
Jeez.
And so that was outlined in this book. And so you'll learn like lattice-based error correcting codes and things like that. This book is really hard to read.
It's really hard to
I don't recommend it. It is ridiculously hard to read. To the point where I still have to like stop reading and go back and do a little bit of research before I finish the chapter. So if you're gonna read this, just fair warning. If you're not someone who likes to stop what you're doing and research what the
it's not a casual read. It's what you're saying. It's an in-depth reading.
Yep. This book is what I use to learn how to encrypt things like. So I use this book to learn RSA, Diffie-Hellman, elliptic curve, AES. This book teaches you how to do the encryption by hand, like scratch paper, applied cryptography. It is, see if I can hold it up here, 20th anniversary edition, applied cryptography, protocols, algorithms, and source code in C. So it's written in C. You can see all like the source code and everything, but they also teach you how to do it by hand, like straight up math. And then they teach you how to convert that math to C so you can do it. This book is a much easier read. It teaches you things like the history. In fact, my RSA video was widely inspired by this book.
Dang.
I got my knowledge from this book. So
nice.
This is applied cryptography is more recommended. So again, post quantum cryptography, stay away from this book. The video I release on this, I would probably be plenty, because I'm just going to translate what I read from that book and make it easy for you to understand. This book, absolutely grab this book. It teaches you how to do a bunch of encryption by hand, and it helps you, like, when you finish this book, you'll feel so much more confident in talking about encryption.
Would you recommend that for beginners, intermediate, beginner friendly?
That's a good question. So I would say if you don't know things like calculus, so like derivatives, if you don't know things like statistics, if you don't know things like algebra, and if you don't know any programming language at all, this book might be confusing. If you understand math at a basic level, this book keeps it simple, very simple. So if you understand math, you understand basic C, because this is just basic C, nothing crazy. This book will be probably recommended. If you're like, I'm a math whiz, I know a lot of this stuff, Great. Get into lattice based encryption, and let's see if you can tell me how to pull points out of a vectorized field by
Humble yourself.
Right. But no, this book is, I mean, here, I'll open a random page.
Oh, God.
I'm not even gonna look, right? Not gonna look. Random page, and watch how much math is in this. If it can show.
There it is. Oh my
Yeah, it's
God.
all math, right? So you can open another random page, doesn't matter. This whole book is just the math behind quantum cryptography. So that's what I mean. Just leave this book alone.
It'll hurt you.
It's a death trap. If I open this book, right? Like this book is it's math, but it's a lot easier to read.
Mhm.
You have your exponents, and that's a random page I opened. And then you have this figure here, which I can't tell you what that is, but it's probably some kind of probability diagram. Much easier to read. So there you go.
Nice. There you go. What was his name? There you go, Bryson. Shout out to you, bro. There's your book, Reco.
Yep.
Sorry we didn't respond to this comment.
Yeah, I'll link the books. I'll put both of them down in the description, like the prices on. See, I got this one free after I went to the conference. I ended up getting this one free somehow, but I'll find it and put it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then this applied cryptography book, I bought this in grad school, so
Nice.
I'll link that.
Cool, man. Welcome back. Pap's alive. He fought the hurricane. He fought the tornado. He fought the flooding. He grilled the meats. He braved the wild.
Meats. Exactly.
And we're back. I mean, that's season 1 was great. Coat finale. Great way to end season 1. And season 2 is about to be. It's about to be even better.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. We're gonna try to kick it up a notch. Season 2.
Jeez.
Try to now that Grant is getting his net plus, so we're gonna kick it up a notch. We're gonna start talking about the contents inside that net plus.
Oh my gosh. No.
We'll start talking about the contents in the security plus.
No.
We'll do things that, funny, like, WPA 3 attacks called Dragon Blood. Things like that.
Finale of season 2, Pap will hack NASA live on camera. No.
Yeah, right. Actually, they do have a bug bounty program. So that actually is not far-fetched. It's not something that I couldn't do. Yeah, I could jump in a live stream and do some bug hunting on NASA. But that's it. Man. Thanks for watching another episode. See y'all next week. PG out.